Okay, Memorial Day weekend. It's all about fun, sun, freedom,
Ah,
right?
absolutely. Kick off to summer for a lot of folks.
But one bad move, one wrong decision, and that freedom, it could vanish pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at today, based on some specific info.
We're focusing on Texas, actually. What happens if you get arrested there, specifically over the Memorial Day holiday?
Right. The sources we have really zero in on the timing of it all, how an arrest lines up with the court system's schedule.
And there's a really stark point made. If you're arrested anytime after the courts close on Friday, things get tricky.
Very tricky. The information is clear. You might not see a judge until the following Tuesday.
Tuesday. So Friday night arrest means Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Exactly, up to 4 days potentially. Because normally after an arrest, you have what's called a magistration or an initial appearance.
That's where the judge tells you the charges, your rights, maybe sets bail.
Precisely. That's the first chance, usually, to arrange release on bond.
But our source material points out, if the courts are closed, which they are late Friday, all weekend, and Monday for the holiday.
Then that crucial step just doesn't happen. There's no judge available to conduct that hearing.
So the consequence is
Yeah.
you wait in jail.
That's the direct outcome highlighted. If you're arrested after court closes Friday, you could be held until Tuesday morning when they reopen.
And the source really hammers this home, right? It says no bond hearing, no release.
Yeah, it's pretty blunt. It mentions no exception during those off hours. The system is essentially paused for the long weekend.
Wow. So just think about that. Purely because of when the arrest happens relative to court hours, you could lose 4 days of freedom right at the very start.
It really highlights how, the practical side of the justice system, the logistics, the operating hours can have a huge immediate impact long before you even get to the substance of the case.
Your ability to get out on bond is literally tied to whether a judge is physically working.
Correct. That magistration hearing is the gateway, and if the gate's closed for the holiday, you wait.
So, for you listening heading into this weekend, what's the main thing to grasp here?
It's understanding that while there are always consequences for breaking the law, the immediate consequence, how long you might be held initially, can change dramatically based on the calendar.
Especially a long holiday weekend like Memorial Day in Texas.
Being aware of this specific procedural detail is important. It shows how things like court schedules, which seem kind of mundane, can seriously affect someone right after an arrest.
So the core message from this source material is pretty undeniable, isn't it?
I'd say so. Arrest after court closes Friday before Memorial Day in Texas. You're likely looking at staying in jail until Tuesday.
Because those initial judicial steps required for potential bond release just won't happen until the courts are back in session.
Yeah, it's a sharp reminder. Actions this weekend, if they lead to arrest, could have an unexpectedly long initial sting, purely because of timing.
Makes you think, doesn't it? How much the simple logistics, like court opening times and holidays, influence someone's immediate liberty.
Absolutely. It dictates wildly different outcomes right at the start, depending entirely on when an arrest happens.
Even before any determination of guilt or innocence, it's just about the clock and the calendar.
Mhm.
Something to definitely reflect on.